Here's the 1970s Whirlpool 6000 BTU with the Seeger compressor. And I always thought this was a reciprocating compressor because of the way it looks. It's pretty big to be a normal rotary compressor, but I'm hearing different things from people, and a lot of people think this is some kind of rotary compressor. This, if you shake this air conditioner around, it makes that typical rattling noise that you would get from a reciprocating compressor, and it doesn't really sound like a rotary. So I really just don't know. Like I said, I've heard from people that it's reciprocating. I've heard from people that it's just an unusual kind of rotary. Most rotaries, they look like that, and I know it's hard to see. They look like that. This one is much wider, like a reciprocating compressor would be. And I'll let you listen to it real quick. Does not sound like a typical rotary. It's a very unique sounding compressor. I do have videos of this air conditioner taken apart if you want to take a better look at the compressor. I'm not gonna completely open it up right now, but I will take the front panel off of here so you can see the data plate. Yeah, there's a little bit of dust on the evaporator. This thing doesn't have a filter in it, and I used it a little bit last year. 6000 BTU, 7.5 amps. And if you've watched previous videos of this air conditioner, you know that for a while I was concerned about it being low on refrigerant. But apparently it's normal for these to take a while to get cold if they haven't been run in a while. If you start this thing up and then turn it off for even a couple hours and then start it back up, it gets cold pretty quickly. So I don't really think it's low on refrigerant. Even those short pulses that I was doing when I was just starting the compressor up for a few seconds, I could hear refrigerant hissing around in it. So I highly doubt it's low. I think that's just a characteristic of this air conditioner. So I'm gonna start it up, maybe try to stall the fan so you can just hear the compressor. Here we go. Let me know what you guys think this is. I'm still leaning towards reciprocating, but I don't know for sure. To me, it just sounds more like a reciprocating than a rotary. Yeah, you can hear the refrigerant hissing. That's our amperage with just the compressor running, and that will go up as pressure builds. See how many watts? 390 watts. Turn the fan on low. I made a video yesterday of this thing running, and I put the thermocouple for my meter in there to test the output temperature. And I even had the heater in front of it, and it was still putting out some nice cool air, so this is still a really good air conditioner. And another thing with this compressor is it's really, really smooth running. Most rotaries vibrate a little bit more than this does, so I still think it's a reciprocating compressor. I really like these small chassis Whirlpools. They seem to be very solidly built and they cool really well. I got this one, which is a 6,000 BTU. I got that 5,000 BTU Kenmore version with the Matsushita rotary compressor and the universal electric fan motor. And it's hard to see, but I have the coolerator right here. This is a 7,000 BTU and it's got an Emerson fan motor and a Matsushita rotary compressor just like the Kenmore does. Now you can see the coolerator a little better. Filter's pretty dusty because I was using it a lot last summer in the kitchen. I'm sure the rest of it's probably still pretty clean. That's the one that had a solid sheet of dust on the condenser and there was absolutely no airflow going through it. So I cleaned that, and I also drilled a drain hole in the bottom of it just because I didn't want to get too rusty or anything, but that thing really cools down a room quickly. It's also worth noting that the compressor in this 70s Whirlpool is extremely heavy. This thing weighs a lot more than you would expect a little air conditioner like this to weigh. Here's the old capacitor out of the Whirlpool. Pretty big. This one was having trouble starting the compressor sometimes, so put a new one in. Now it always starts right up. I got the 6,000 BTU Whirlpool running. There's a heater right in front of it, and we are getting 51-degree air from the output vent. It's on low fan right now, and that's what we're pulling. This thing is rated at 7.5 max. Let's go up to high speed. That would be higher if it was in a hot environment. Air coming out back here is nice and warm. It's medium. Low. Let's see what kind of air temperature we're pulling in. In between the heater and the intake. So that's what we're pulling in.